Buddha meditation techniques form one of the oldest and most refined systems of mental training in human history. These practices were not created to serve as mere relaxation exercises but as methods for completely transforming the mind, understanding the nature of reality, and ending suffering at its roots. Although centuries have passed, the essence of these meditative systems remains intact, accessible, and deeply relevant to modern life. People today face mental overload, emotional turbulence, digital distractions, and stress caused by the speed and intensity of modern environments. Buddha's meditation techniques provide tools for calming the mind, opening the heart, strengthening awareness, and cultivating wisdom. They teach how to observe the world clearly, how to relate to one's own thoughts without being controlled by them, and how to live with compassion and equanimity. These techniques work on multiple layers of the mind: the layer of concentration, the layer of emotions, the layer of habits, and the layer of perception that shapes our experience of reality. The foundation of Buddha's approach is the understanding that suffering does not come from external events themselves but from how the mind relates to these events. Attachment, aversion, and ignorance distort perception, creating emotional pain and confusion. Meditation gradually dissolves these distortions by cultivating awareness that sees things as they really are. The Buddha himself described meditation as a path of purification, a way to cleanse the mind of unwholesome tendencies and reveal its natural clarity. This clarity, when stabilized, becomes a source of profound peace and freedom. The techniques he taught vary widely, each aimed at different mental states and personalities. Some emphasize stillness, some emphasize insight, some emphasize compassion, and others emphasize embodied awareness. But they share one common goal: the liberation of the mind. Mindfulness of breath is the technique the Buddha most frequently recommended. In its simplest form, it involves observing the breath as it flows in and out of the body. While it may appear basic, this practice is capable of leading all the way to awakening. Breath meditation teaches stability of attention. In the beginning, the mind jumps from thought to thought, restless and distracted. The breath becomes like an anchor, grounding awareness in the present moment. Over time, practitioners begin to notice details: the coolness of air entering the nostrils, the warmth of air leaving, the expansion of the abdomen, the natural pauses between breaths. These experiences build concentration. And with concentration comes quietness. When the mind settles, its natural luminosity becomes apparent. This luminosity is not a mystical phenomenon but a quality of clear awareness unobstructed by agitation. Most people never experience this because their attention is constantly pulled outward by stimulation. Breath meditation reverses the pattern, revealing the inner landscape of the mind. Another essential technique is loving-kindness meditation, or metta. Many people struggle with negative self-talk, guilt, resentment, and insecurity. Metta directly addresses these emotional wounds. The practitioner begins by silently repeating phrases of goodwill toward themselves: "May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be safe. May my mind be at ease." The point is not to force emotion but to incline the mind toward kindness. Humans naturally gravitate toward their habits of thinking, so metta builds new habits of warmth and compassion. Once self-kindness becomes stable, the practitioner extends these wishes to loved ones, acquaintances, strangers, and even difficult individuals. This gradual expansion of goodwill strengthens emotional resilience. Instead of reacting with anger or fear, practitioners learn to respond with understanding and softness. Over months or years, metta transforms how a person perceives the world. Life begins to feel less threatening, relationships become easier, and the heart becomes a source of generosity. Mindfulness of the body is another technique deeply emphasized by the Buddha. Modern society often disconnects people from their bodies. Long hours of sitting, constant screen use, and mental tension create a life lived mostly in the head. Buddha recognized long ago that reconnecting with bodily sensations brings balance. In body mindfulness, practitioners observe sensations throughout the body without judgment. They scan from head to toe, noticing tingling, pressure, warmth, coolness, pain, or subtle vibrations. This trains non-reactivity. Instead of immediately reacting to discomfort or seeking pleasure, the practitioner simply observes. Over time, the relationship to the body becomes more peaceful. This technique also reveals the impermanent nature of sensations. They arise, change, and pass away moment by moment. This insight becomes a doorway into deeper wisdom. A core meditation in Buddhism is the observation of thoughts. Thoughts continuously arise in the mind like waves in the ocean. Most people cling to them, believe them, or fight against them. Buddha taught that thoughts should be observed rather than obeyed. When a practitioner watches a thought arise, stay briefly, and dissolve, they begin to realize that a thought is just a temporary mental event, not a command, not a definition of self, not an enemy. This creates psychological freedom. Instead of being trapped in cycles of overthinking, the meditator gains the ability to step back and witness the mind's activity. This witnessing perspective weakens the power of anxiety, fear, and negative narratives. It also enhances clarity, helping practitioners make wiser decisions. Insight meditation, or vipassana, is one of the most profound techniques in the Buddha's teachings. It aims not just at calmness but at seeing reality directly. Vipassana trains the practitioner to observe three universal characteristics in every experience: impermanence, suffering, and non-self. Impermanence becomes clear when we notice that sensations, emotions, and thoughts constantly change. Suffering becomes evident when we see how craving and aversion create mental tension. Non-self reveals itself when practitioners detect that what they consider me is actually a collection of changing processes, sensations, perceptions, thoughts, and consciousness moment by moment. When these insights deepen, attachment weakens, and the mind experiences a profound inner release. Enlightenment, according to the Buddha, is the full realization of these characteristics, removing the root causes of suffering. Walking meditation is another powerful practice. In this technique, practitioners walk slowly and mindfully, paying attention to each step. Instead of rushing or walking mechanically, they observe the lifting of the foot, the movement through the air, and the placing of the foot on the ground. This develops present moment awareness and steadiness. Walking meditation is especially valuable for people who find sitting difficult or feel restless. It balances energy, refreshes the mind, and demonstrates that meditation is not limited to stillness. This practice also strengthens the connection between mind and body, grounding awareness in physical experience. Another technique is mindful eating. Buddha taught monks to eat with full awareness, observing the taste, texture, smell, and chewing of each bite. In modern society, eating is often rushed or emotionally driven. Mindful eating restores a healthy relationship with food. Practitioners learn to distinguish true hunger from emotional desire. They eat more slowly, enjoy meals more deeply, and avoid overeating. This technique also reveals how cravings and habits are formed, providing insight into the mechanics of desire. Emotional mindfulness is an important meditation in Buddha's system. Each emotion has a physical signature: anger burns, fear tightens, sadness drains, excitement vibrates. Instead of suppressing emotions or being overwhelmed by them, practitioners observe these sensations with patience. The emotion may be strong at first, but with awareness, it loses intensity. This approach prevents emotional repression while also avoiding emotional impulsiveness. Over time, emotional intelligence develops naturally. The practitioner learns that emotions are not enemies but transient phenomena that teach about the inner world. Sound meditation is another technique Buddha described. Practitioners sit quietly and listen to sounds without labeling them. Instead of judging a sound as pleasant or unpleasant, they simply allow it to be part of awareness. This broadens perception and relaxes mental rigidity. Sounds that normally irritate the mind become opportunities for mindfulness. This technique teaches acceptance, adaptability, and equanimity. Equanimity itself is a high-level meditation skill. Equanimity means remaining balanced and open in the face of all experiences. Pleasure does not lead to clinging, pain does not lead to aversion. The mind becomes steady like a mountain. Buddha emphasized that equanimity does not mean apathy. Rather, It means the highest form of strength, the ability to remain peaceful in the midst of change. Practicing equanimity reduces emotional volatility and creates inner freedom. Visualization is another meditation used in certain Buddhist traditions. Practitioners picture calming images, radiant light, or peaceful landscapes. Visualization enhances focus, uplifts emotions, and reinforces positive qualities. It strengthens the imagination while calming the nervous system. Some traditions visualize symbols of wisdom or compassion, using imagery as a tool for mental transformation. Chanting and mantra repetition is another ancient technique. When practitioners chant sacred sounds or phrases, their breathing synchronizes, their mind becomes rhythmic, and their attention stabilizes. Chanting brings emotional relief, mental clarity, and a connection to deeper values. The vibration of sound can also calm the body and regulate its energy. Daily life mindfulness is one of the most important teachings of the Buddha. Meditation does not end when the session ends. Walking, eating, working, speaking, listening, cleaning, and resting can all become forms of practice. By bringing awareness to ordinary activities, practitioners cultivate continuous mindfulness. Over months or years, this leads to a radical shift in how life is experienced. Even simple actions become opportunities for presence, clarity, and wisdom. Intention setting is another subtle meditation. Before practicing, meditators set an intention such as patience, kindness, awareness, or focus. This shapes the direction of the mind. Buddha taught that intention determines the type of mental habits that grow. When practitioners consciously choose wholesome intentions, their actions gradually align with wisdom and compassion. Another key element is recognizing the difference between reality and mental stories. The mind constantly creates narratives, judgments, predictions, interpretations. Meditation teaches practitioners to return to direct experience, the feeling of the breath, the sensation of sitting, the sounds in the environment. This shift weakens the power of mental stories, reducing anxiety and confusion. Discipline is another important part of Buddha's approach. Meditation must be practiced regularly to bear fruit. Short, consistent daily practice is more effective than occasional long sessions. Discipline builds momentum. Over time, the mind becomes conditioned toward calmness and awareness, just like muscles strengthen through regular exercise. As meditation deepens, practitioners often notice increased sensitivity and clarity. Colors look brighter, sounds become richer, and sensations feel more vivid. This does not mean the world has changed, rather, the mind has become more present. Awareness sharpens. This heightened perception brings a sense of aliveness and connection to the world. Another profound aspect of meditation is the purification of mental defilements. Greed, hatred, and delusion are not moral flaws but mental patterns that create suffering. Through awareness, these patterns weaken. Greed loosens as one learns to appreciate the present moment. Hatred dissolves as compassion grows. Delusion disappears as insight develops. The mind becomes increasingly free. Meditation also teaches humility. Progress is not linear. Some sessions feel deep and peaceful, others feel restless and chaotic. The Buddha taught that all experiences are valuable because they reveal the true nature of the mind. By accepting each session without judgment, practitioners develop patience and resilience. The long-term effects of meditation are profound. Emotional stability improves, compassion expands, mental clarity deepens, and suffering diminishes. Scientific studies confirm these benefits. Meditation reshapes the brain, reduces stress, increases empathy, and enhances well-being. But the deepest transformation described by the Buddha is the realization of non-self and the freedom that follows. This freedom is not supernatural, it is the natural result of seeing reality without distortion. Ultimately, Buddha meditation techniques are a journey inward, a journey of discovering the mind's true nature. They offer pathways to peace, stability, kindness, and wisdom. Whether one practices breath awareness, loving kindness, insight meditation, walking meditation, or daily life mindfulness, the goal is the same: liberation from suffering and the awakening of inner clarity. Through consistent practice, anyone can experience the gradual unfolding of calmness, understanding, and compassion that these techniques cultivate. This transformation enriches every aspect of life, allowing practitioners to live with greater presence, deeper joy, and a heart free from unnecessary burdens. Thanks for watching. You can download our app from Google Play. Get notifications, daily quotes from Buddha, guided meditation methods, articles about Buddhist wisdom and sutras from Pali Canon. Discover inner peace, cultivate mindfulness, and unlock the infinite wisdom of the Buddha with this app. Download link below. Our channel is new and needs your support. In our channel you can find many videos on the history and philosophical teachings of Buddhism. Please subscribe to our channel to support the teachings of Buddha on YouTube.